Cool. So we're getting started on our stomachs, or if a child's pose is more comfortable for you. Yeah, taking a few big breaths here, letting the front of your body or wherever is making contact with the ground feel soft. All of the sediment or sand, you can imagine that settling to the bottom, to wherever you're making contact with the ground. Inviting this awaitedness. And this awareness to our body, to the space that we take up. Bring our attention to the other sensations, any smells, sounds. Sounds, you might see if you can hear the most furthest away sound from us. Noticing the layers. Checking if there's anything that needs to soften or relax. Releasing any unnecessary tension here. And allowing yourself to enter this practice with our full presence. And any intentions you'd like to thread through your practice. If you're on your stomachs, I invite you to come into a Sphinx pose and begin any sort of neck rolls, moving slowly. If you're in any other seat, you can just invite some neck movement and stretches wherever you are. And moving slowly. Then we'll look over one shoulder, looking towards your tailbone. Letting that opposite shoulder drop long, so creating a lot of space from the crown of your head to that shoulder. Staying here, you might reach back for the top of that foot, taking a little bit of a quad stretch. Yeah, pressing that knee and hip into the ground. Continuing any head and neck rolls that might feel good or different here. Slowly releasing that. Maybe letting the head go down to the ground, just letting yourself kind of find a neutral spine. Take a big heavy breath into the ground. And coming back into our Sphinx, looking to the opposite side. Looking over our shoulder towards our sit bone, yeah, creating space between that shoulder and the crown of our head. And you're maybe reaching for that foot, and taking a quad stretch. Nice. Drawing us to wherever we're feeling this, the sensations, the stretches. slowly lowering out of that. And stretching our hands, you can let the head come towards the ground. You can reach your hands long in front. And it's sort of, we're just really stretching our body long, feet and hands moving in opposite directions. We'll meet in a child's pose. Taking your time there, sticking back onto your heels. Forehead meets the ground, possibly. We'll shift into our tabletop, finding ourselves on hands and knees. Finding a neutral spine. And then we'll bite some little circles here. So keeping the spine fairly neutral, but just making some circles, noticing how the wrists feel. And finding our way back into our neutral spine. We'll drop the belly, lifting the chest up, taking a nice big cow. And exhaling, reversing the movement of the spine, gaze towards our belly button. And letting this carry into your cat and cow practice. Moving at your own pace. Inviting any other movement, any organic movement here, familiar or new. Maybe incorporating some of those circles, any wrist exploration. Nice. Find our way back into our neutral spine. And extending our right leg back behind us so we can lift our toes a little bit up off the ground, engaging with our core. And then we'll bend that knee, making about a 90-degree angle, and invite some big hip circles here. So allowing that knee to come around towards your hip length, coming down as it kisses the floor. Moving, going in different directions. Send it long behind us and then let it cross over towards your left. So looking over our left shoulder, feeling a long side stretch here. Going back to tabletop, maybe taking a cat and cow or anything to kind of neutralize, bring us back to center. Finding our neutral spine, we'll extend that left leg back behind us, lifting our heel up off the ground, finding stability here, our weight in both of our hands, full palm pressing down. Then we can bend that knee and inviting some circles here, exploring the range of movement. How to stabilize while we explore. Extending that leg long behind us and crossing it over towards the right, looking over our right shoulder, breathing into that left side body nice and long. Nice. Coming back to center and sinking back into another child's pose. Yeah, knees together or far far apart. Checking with the breath where you're feeling it. It's living in our belly, it's living up more in our throat, and just noticing, no judgment. Next few breaths, we'll find our way into down dog, taking your time and meander your way there a bit. Inviting any bending and stretching of the legs, allowing yourself to arrive to your down dog. Inhale, we'll lift our heels up off the ground, and then bending our knees, sticking our tailbone up towards the air, and then we'll stretch our legs out back into our down dog. Do that a couple more times. Inhaling, lifting our heels. With your exhale, bending the knees down, tailbone up, and then stretching the legs through. One more round of this, lifting our heels. There's the undulating happening. Nice. Lift our right leg up towards the sky, extending that heel long. Exhale, bringing that knee to nose and step it forward, dropping that knee coming into a low lunge. Arms can reach up, sinking into that front hip. Finding any arms that stabilize you, connecting our hands together. They might find heart center, or your hips, your low back. Letting this practice be yours. We'll lower our hands to the inside of that right leg and move our right leg out a little bit, coming into an early lizard. You might press that knee open a bit or twisting towards that knee. And we'll let that foot come back underneath us and meet in down dog. Taking that back toe, lifting the hips up. You can lift that right heel up towards the sky, allowing it to feel really long. And bringing knee to nose and gently stepping it forward, dropping that knee, finding your way into your low lunge. Any arm variation, allowing it to be different. We'll lower our hands to the inside of that left leg, letting that foot go to the outside, coming into our lizard, push into that knee, opening up towards the knee. Push away from the knee. And you might keep both hands on the ground. Come back onto that foot. We'll step our back foot forward to the outside of that right hand, and so coming into a little bit of a wider forward fold. And we can grab opposite elbows, invite a little movement. Allow the knees to be supple. Maybe grabbing the back of our head. Releasing our hands down, allowing our head and hands to feel very heavy. We're going to do a slow roll out. So you can think one vertebrae at a time, bringing us, our head is the last thing to arrive as we roll up. You can think about something heavy like a weight or sand falling off of your back. And just slowly rolling up allowing our knees to come above our ankles, hips above knees. Eventually crown floating on top of our shoulders, floating on top of our rib cage and our hips. Finding mountain pose, you might adjust your feet a little bit if you want to come underneath you. We'll take 3 big breaths here, arriving upright. Each exhale, softening anything that we don't need to be holding tension in the jaw or in the shoulders. Let's inhale, lift our arms up towards the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And exhale, hands planting at the top of your mat, stepping them back, down dog, and staying here. Or if you'd like, rolling forward through your plank, and going through low plank for a flow. Look to the top of our mat, stepping or hopping forward. Coming all the way up to standing with one breath. And exhale, hands to heart center. Release them to mountain pose. And 3 breaths here. Opportunity to check again. Next breath, inhaling, lifting the arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And exhale, planting your hands into your mat, stepping them to the back of your feet, to the back, down dog. And staying here, going through your flow. Inhale, looking to the top of our mat, stepping or hopping forward, coming all the way up to standing, arms reach up. And exhale, hands through heart center, releasing to mountain pose. 3 breaths here. On our next breath, inhaling, lifting the arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And exhale, releasing our hands down, down dog. Nice. Inhale, lift that right heel up towards the sky. And exhale, bring that knee to nose, stepping it forward, high lunge. Finding our feet on different train tracks, reaching our arms up. That cool front foot pressing into the ground. Our inhale, we can expand the chest a little bit here. Slight back bend, maybe. And then releasing our hands down along our side, just shifting our upper body forward for sort of an upper body airplane. And noticing how that shift of weight changes the feeling and muscle engagement in that front leg. Reach the arms up. And one more time, shifting forward. We'll release our hands down, stepping that back foot forward, coming into a forward fold. Reach your hands all the way up. Here we'll clasp both hands, rooting your feet into the ground, reaching your hands up towards the sky, and shifting to one side for a banana pose. Nice and long as you reach up into the other side. Moving back up, slight heart opener here. And then exhale, forward fold. Do the halfway lift, extending that spine long. And exhale, hands down, and we'll step that right foot back behind us, coming into our high lunge on the left side. Arms reaching up, dropping our shoulders, finding our stability. Expanding the chest here with your next breath. And then letting the hands come to our sides, shifting just our upper body forward. Airplaning the upper body. Base. Inhale, again coming up, expanding the chest. And exhale, shifting our weight again forward. Nice. We'll release our hands down, stepping that back foot forward, down dog. Hanging out there, going through a flow. Inhale, lift that right heel up towards the sky. Staying here on your exhale, bringing knee to nose. Your inhale, three-legged dog. Knee to nose. Three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, step it forward, high lunge. Arms reach up. Here we'll twist our high lunge. So either opening the arms or taking a prayer twist towards that front leg. Your choice, however your practice is feeling. And here we can bring our attention to the length between the crown of the head and that back heel. You can still feel really elongated, spiraling in this diagonal direction. Coming back to center. And we can let our hands come down towards the ground, to the inside of that leg, letting that foot come out, coming again into a lizard. Keeping that knee up off the ground or lowering it. Nice. And we'll tuck that back toe, lifting our back knee, walking our hands towards that back foot, so towards the left foot, turning in, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. We'll hang out here for a couple of breaths. You might grab the outside of your ankles or just reach towards the ground or in between your legs. Come up into just a halfway lift here, a little bit, extending that spine long. Then we'll plant the right hand into the ground, and twisting towards our left. Nice. We'll walk our hands back towards that front foot, and we'll step our back foot to the outside of our left foot, coming into a goddess squat. So our feet are a little bit wider than our hips to our mat. You can press your forearms or upper arms into the inside of your legs. Nice. Is there anything you can relax here? Release into a forward fold, crown goes down. Bringing the feet underneath us. Taking a halfway lift, lifting the chest up. And exhale, releasing your hands down. Meeting back in down dog. Always option to go there through your flow. Inhale and lift that left heel up towards the sky. Staying here, or on your exhale, bringing knee to nose. Extending it with your in-breath. Exhale, knee to nose. Extend up. And third one, knee to nose and stepping it forward, finding our high lunge. Reach up. And we'll go right into our twist. Taking your twist, arms wide or heart center. Finding that length from back heel to front of the head. Back to center, and we'll release our hands down, coming into our lizard on this side. You can lower that back knee or keep it up off the ground. A couple options. Both hands can stay on the ground, or you can always press into that front knee. Stepping back onto that front foot, walking our hands towards the back foot, towards the right, finding our wide straddle. Maybe this time you take a shoulder rinse, clasping your hands at the base of your spine. Maybe some big open mouth exhales. Release our hands down, taking a halfway lift here, spine long, and then planting the left hand into the ground, opening up towards the right for this forward fold twist. Letting that hand come down, we'll walk our hands towards our front foot, stepping that back foot forward. We'll find another goddess squat. Tailbone goes towards the ground. This time, if you'd like to reach your hands towards the ground, take a twist towards one side. You're welcome to that. Twisting to the other side, get back to center. Back to center. And from here, we'll see if we can come all up to standing. If you need to go through a forward fold, you can. If you come all the way up to standing, maybe into a starfish, reaching wide, taking a lot of space. Finding ourselves in mountain pose. I feel like doing trees, just honoring the trees that are around us all the time, but then some that we've lost. So preparing for a tree practice, finding some stable ground, picking your side as you root that bottom of the foot into the ground. Always option to keep your toes in the ground as a kickstand, letting it find the inside of that standing leg, allowing that energy of both legs to pull together and up. Finding arms that are supportive, maybe moving between some different options. Slowly releasing out of this side. Finding your mountain in between, neutralizing and intentionally shifting into that other side. Yeah, shaking anything out. So honoring that each side might be different, might have different needs, might just be different today. Slowly come out of this side, finding our mountain pose. Feeling our weight evenly on both feet. We'll sink into a chair pose. So letting our knees and hips bend, reaching. Arms can be forward or find a prayer or a cactus. We expand our breath here. And on our exhale, we'll forward fold, releasing forward. Maybe shaking that head out a little bit. Halfway lift. And our exhale, we'll meet back in down dog. We'll reach our right leg up towards the sky and opening the hip, inviting some hip circles, any good movement here, maybe a flipped dog, wild thing. Nice. Yeah, lubricating that hip socket. And we'll bring that knee forward, stepping it forward, coming into our high lunge. Again, arms reach up. Taking a little bit of a back bend here. And exhale, releasing our hands down. And we'll walk our hands again towards that back foot, finding ourselves in this wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, come up all the way up to standing. Toes can come pointing a little bit away from you. Finding our starfish again, taking up a lot of space. And exhaling, wide squat. Saddle squat. Arms can be wider, maybe at the hips. And exhale, extend, stretching those legs forward. Toes can point in as we forward fold. And a couple options here, either taking like a one-legged squat where you bend your left knee down, extending that right leg out, or you might just walk your hands towards that left foot for a stretch. Nice. Depending on your knee and hips and what you're feeling, a couple options. Coming back to center, back through your forward fold, walking our hands forward to the top of our mat, and then stepping that back foot forward, down dog. Nice. Lift our left heel up towards the sky, and again, inviting any hip circles, bent or stretch the knee, taking any flipped dog. And bringing that knee forward, coming into our high lunge. Arms reach up. Drawing a, I think I just went to a forward fold on that. Okay, taking a bit of an arch here, stretching, extending the chest. Exhale, letting our hands come down, walking them towards the back foot, coming into our wide forward fold again. We'll come up to standing, crown coming up towards the sky, extending long limbs in opposite direction, all four corners. And then sinking down, wide-legged, straddle. Extending our legs, arms reach out. And exhale, forward fold. Then option here, either just walking our hands towards that right foot or taking a one-legged squat. I forget exactly if this probably has a name. A couple options. Back to a wide-legged forward fold, walking the hands forward to the top of our mat. And then stepping that foot back, finding your way back into down dog. And taking a child's pose. Now checking in, grabbing a sip of water. Checking in with the breath, with our heart. Your next few breaths, we'll meet back in down dog. No rush. Maybe go to your tabletop, finding yourself in down dog. more practice down. We'll find one more set of lizards. So we'll reach our right leg up. Stepping that right foot to the outside of our right hand, lowering that knee, coming into a last lizard on this side. This time you might sink in a little bit more, maybe reaching the hands towards the ground. If you have any supports with you, you can always rock on to the outside edge of that foot. Or you might reach for that back foot for a deeper quad and hip stretch. We'll slowly release out of this side, bring that foot back underneath us, tucking that back toe, lifting that right leg up. Now we're going to take this into pigeon, bringing that knee to wrist, settling into your pigeon, also option for finding your back, and finding a figure four pose, so whatever opener you feel up to today. Finding a sustainable way to settle into your pigeon. We bring our attention to the contact of the ground, imagining ourselves pushing into the ground as much as it's pushing into us. Or you might just think about softening and melting into the ground, as if we are butter on a skillet, melting. 5 or so more breaths on this side. In your own timing, slowly making your way out of the side. Taking any movements you might need in between, tabletop, any movement in your down dog. Preparing for the other side, making your way into lizard with that left leg forward. And no rush to arrive. And taking any variation on the side, twisting or reaching back for that foot. Just finding stillness. Sending our breath to the sensation. Your own timing, slowly coming out of this, stepping onto that foot, lifting that leg back up into three-legged dog. Getting any hip circles here and making our way into pigeon on the left side or another hip opener. Letting yourself settle in, letting the side be different. We soften. Allow yourself to sink in for 5 or so more breaths on our left side. As we come out of this side, we'll meet on our backs. So whatever movement you need to do in between, you can go back to your down dog or just flip right over. And we'll find ourselves in a restorative rest. So letting our feet be a little bit wider than our hips, our knees, touch your kiss in the center. You might let your hands fall along with your sides, or they can rest on your stomach and chest. Wherever they are, letting your hands have weight. And letting our hips and our lower back relax. You can invite a big breath in, fully filling the belly. And slowly letting it out. You might let it out of your mouth. Doing that again, taking a big full breath. Slowly letting it out. Option to come into some back bends. You let the knees separate a bit, find their ground. And pushing up into a bridge. This could also be a restorative bridge if you have a bolster or block. Letting the hips float up, creating lots of length from our knees to our throats. Exhaling, lowering, and letting the knees rock back and forth. They just come together. And taking the time to find maybe one more bridge. Pressing our feet to the ground, lifting our hips up. Slowly lowering. And allow our feet to come towards our hands, maybe taking a happy baby. Inviting any little rocking here, bending and stretching of the legs, hips, lots of hip things. It should be nice and lubricated. And then letting this evolve into any other movement that you'd like to end your practice with. Might be a legs up the imaginary wall or just stretching them out. If you'd like any twists. Being guided by what you need today, what you would like. Letting your body be your guide. Beautiful. As you settle yourself into a closing posture, into your Shavasana, into a meditative seat. Yeah, letting yourself meander your way there and settle in. Letting the breath ride its natural rhythm. Inviting a bit of a body scan, a scanning of the sensations. Reminding ourselves that there's nothing left to do but to just be here. Begin inviting some big breaths into the belly. Bring our attention back to the sounds of your surroundings. Contact with the ground. Slowly invite any little movements or stretches that feel good, that bring you back here. Like to come to a seat, maybe slowly pushing yourself to one side. Into a seat to close our practice together, letting your hands find somewhere comfortable on your legs or in your heart center. Again, letting them feel weighted wherever they are. We'll close our practice with 3 big inhales and exhales. Taking a deep breath in. bow forward, honoring yourself, and for practicing in community today. Namaste.